So you're looking to move to Northwest Arkansas, and you've narrowed it down to just Benton County, where you'd like to find home. My friend, in today's video, we're going to be looking at cities like Bentonville, Bella Vista, Rogers, all the way out to Siloam Springs, as well as Centerton, Arkansas. My friend, if we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Anthony Mosley. I'm a real estate broker here in Benton County, and I help people just like you, after presenting them the facts, decide is Northwest Arkansas for them or not. What this video is not is a deep dive analysis of price per square foot, what real estate is available for you. We can certainly get into the weeds on that one, but we're really drilling down on the lifestyle that you might want to have, leaving where you currently are and moving your family here to Benton County. However, by the end of this video, you'll have a pretty good understanding as to which city might best fit you. Let's throw a quick chart up here on the screen. This gives you a basic understanding of the cities we have mentioned: Bentonville, Rogers, Bella Vista, Centerton, Pea Ridge, Gravette, and yes, Siloam Springs. As you can see on the chart, this is giving us a basic population. Of course, these are detailed numbers. Gives you an understanding that the most expensive housing out of all these cities is going to be found in Bentonville and Rogers, and the most cost-effective cities are going to be cities like Gravette, of course, Bella Vista, Centerton, and Siloam Springs, kind of all coming in at a tie according to these dollar signs that we're seeing here. But of course, no matter where you go in Northwest Arkansas, you can certainly find more expensive homes and more cost-effective homes. Also here on the chart, you'll notice there's kind of a little bit of a vibe summary that gives us an understanding of what each town might provide. We're going to dig in deeper on that later on in the video. Of course, my favorite topic to talk about as a broker is real estate, so let's get that done and over with. Right here on the front end, if we're talking about Bentonville, you're going to find the highest prices in all of Benton County, mostly Washington County as well. You're going to find those in Bentonville. With the world's largest retailer headquartered in Bentonville, you can only imagine that there's a strong executive relocation demand, which builds up the luxury builds as well as downtown density of Bentonville continues to grow. A few years ago, Bentonville was really concerned about the missing middle. What they mean by the missing middle is between high-density housing like apartments and single-family homes, what you might see in the middle are more townhomes and condos to help bridge the gap of the missing middle. Of course, Bentonville's appreciation is strongly tied to the retail world, but also now becoming tied to tourism, with many world-renowned museums, as well as being the mountain biking capital of the world. Bentonville is drawing people from all over, in turn driving prices up. So certainly a higher price entry in Bentonville, but also the strongest long-term demand historically that we've seen in Benton County. Next on our list is Rogers. In Rogers, you might see more price diversity. The reason being is because, yes, it does have a downtown area like Bentonville, not as pricey, but Rogers does have quite a span going on the east side of Beaver Lake all the way across to the west side of Highway 49. So as you can imagine, on the west side of 49, there's going to be maybe more neighborhoods, where the east side of the lake, you're going to be able to spread out a bit more and possibly have lake property. So you could go anywhere from a $100,000 home all the way up to a multi-million-dollar home. You can do that in Bentonville too, but it seems to be a wider variety in Rogers. In my opinion, the downtown area of Rogers in their revitalization is a little underappreciated. Of course, Bentonville usually gets most of the accolades, but downtown Rogers is seeing quite a bit of a turnover. Also, moving up the street to Bella Vista, traditionally lower entry price than Bentonville, but all in Bella Vista is a property owners association. So that's one factor you might notice comparing Bella Vista to any other Northwest Arkansas city, is the entire city of Bella Vista is a POA, property owners association. You could be a owner of property and not live there, like myself. I could be here living in Bentonville and then own property in Bella Vista and still be able to enjoy the amenities there. Many people that are moving here, maybe just like you, ask me, Anthony, where is downtown Bella Vista? Well, my friend, Bella Vista was never designed to be a town. It was supposed to be a resort community, then became a retirement community in the mid-1900s. Now, when you see it today, became a full-blown city as of early 2007. There may be some rumblings out there that Bella Vista is going to have a downtown area, but no word on the street just yet. Moving a little bit farther south and west is the city of Centerton. 20 years ago, there was less than 5,000 residents in the town of Centerton. As you can imagine, it's one of the fastest growing Benton County cities. Don't just take my word for it. It's actually been in the news as one of the fastest growing cities in all of Arkansas. Very new construction heavy. Strong appeal to those that maybe be priced out of Bentonville, but still want to be in Bentonville schools. More on that later in the video. But Centerton has announced recently that they're going to develop a downtown area. You're going to have Old Town and New Town. New Town is going to be south of 102. Shooting back across the highway to the north and east is Pea Ridge. Pea Ridge is certainly growing and has a small town feel, but I was just up there showing homes the other day, and there are new neighborhoods and new houses just about everywhere. There's a Walmart Supercenter that's going to move in up there in the not-so-distant future. Pea Ridge is also going to offer more land availability and a little bit more cost-effectiveness. Now let's jump back west again and head over to Gravette. I hear many people moving to Gravette because they want more of that rural lifestyle. They're okay with maybe a few acres, propane tanks, and solar panels. Last but not least, let's wrap up the real estate section with Siloam Springs. Siloam Springs has grown significantly in the last few years. Although Siloam Springs is on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas, it is still part of Benton County. It's way over there. In fact, where I'm standing today, on the border of Bentonville and Centerton, it takes about 30 to 45 minutes to get out there, but we can't forget about Siloam Springs. Cute little downtown, brick sidewalks, lots of history there with Sanger Creek and Sager family who had settled there many, many years ago. Hopefully that gives you a bit of a round-out understanding of the real estate kind of picture of each and every one of those cities. Of course, like I said, when you get down to the details and want to know house per house and square footage and what homes are offered in each one of those cities, we can certainly have a much richer conversation. Now moving on to schools, and before you say, hey, you know what, Anthony, schools aren't for us, our kids are grown and gone, my friend, I would encourage you to stick around in this section because many of my clients say, hey, Anthony, when the time does come for me to sell, I want to make sure the home that I purchased today is attractive to someone that might be moving here, maybe with kids, in the school district. So when we're looking at school district, I always like to refer back to schooldigger.com, niche.com, or even Zillow has their own rating of schools. And of course, what's important to you might not be important to somebody else, like class size, activities, sports, proximity, teacher ratings, and the such. It's very subjective to the individual. So let's break it down by one of the best school districts year in and year out, which is Bentonville Schools. Of our cities that we're talking about today, Bentonville Schools covers Bentonville, Centerton, and even a large portion of Bella Vista. Bella Vista is broken up into 3 different school districts. Gravette to the west, Bentonville in the center, and a small little portion of Bella Vista in the far northeast corner is part of Pea Ridge School District. Now, Gravette, Pea Ridge, as well as Siloam Springs all have their own respective school district. As you're looking through those third-party websites to decide what's important to you in your child's school district or the school district you end up wanting to buy in. That being said, I myself grew up in a small farming community in Michigan, and I was a halfway decent baseball player and a halfway decent golfer. But if I had gone to the bigger city schools, I probably wouldn't have played nowhere near as much as I did growing up in high school. So that said, what kind of school experience do you want for your kids? Do you want them to be first chair in the band? Do you want them to be starting on the football team or maybe cheer captain or volleyball captain? Subjective to yourself. If you're wanting more opportunity as far as a breadth of activities, I would suggest maybe one of the larger schools like Bentonville School District or Rogers School District. If you're wanting maybe more of that down home, smaller, more quaint feel for your kids to have maybe a good selection of activities, but more ability to have playing time, you might consider one of the small districts like Gravette, Pea Ridge, or Siloam Springs. On to safety. Now, of course, as a real estate broker, I have to be very careful talking about safety. What you might find safe might be different than what I find safe. I always encourage people to check out websites like watchdog.com or crimegrade.org. Plug in your city's zip code in crimegrade.org and then plug in one of the cities here, like Bentonville's 72712 or Bella Vista's 72714 as an example, so you can see not only the grade of crime, but also the type of crime. Are we talking about capital crime? Or are we talking about petty theft? I do believe, at last check, that Bella Vista had the best crime grade rating out of all the cities that we're viewing today. Along with safety is community feel. Up in Bella Vista, you might have a bit more of a historically quieter and residential experience in Bella Vista. Bentonville and Rogers are going to be a bit more urban and corporate feel, and the smaller towns, specifically Pea Ridge and Gravette, are certainly going to be quieter but with less services. Next topic, let's talk about food, entertainment, and nightlife. Now, you might have a different opinion of nightlife than I do. We're usually in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. However, in regards to nightlife, I would say out of all of the cities, Rogers has the best nightlife and maybe breadth of restaurants. National and regional chains like Olive Garden, Torchy's Tacos, and local favorite Wright's Barbecue. In Bentonville, less chainy type of restaurants, more family owned and operated. Restaurants like Table Mesa, Table on Six, The Preacher's Son, and a James Beard Award-winning chef at the restaurant named Conifer. Out in Siloam Springs, you're going to find your chain-type fast food restaurants as well as Fratelli's Pizza downtown. No, not those Fratelli's. And in Pea Ridge and Gravette, like mentioned earlier, fewer services. They're certainly their local favorites that they have there, but fewer services in Pea Ridge and Gravette. More on the way. In regards to nightlife in each one of those cities, I would say that your best chance for nightlife and entertainment, we have to loop those two in there. I would say your best bet for nightlife and entertainment is probably going to be in Rogers with Topgolf, the Arkansas Music Pavilion, the Pinnacle Hills Promenade, 2 different movie theaters, 2 different private and semi-private golf courses, and over in Bentonville, there's a bit of a nightlife as well with some restaurants and some pretty cool speakeasies in Bentonville. But as far as nightlife, towns like Bella Vista really start shutting down around 6 to 8 p.m. Out in Siloam Springs, and just across the border into Oklahoma, there is a casino there. Kind of along the lines of entertainment, let's talk a little bit about outdoor lifestyle. Which one of these cities would you say has some of the best outdoor lifestyle? I would say that Bella Vista ranks highest out of all these towns, hands down. 108 holes of golf, 7 lakes, multiple miles and miles of soft surface single track mountain biking trails, putt-putt courses, pump tracks, shooting ranges. Bentonville and Rogers to me would come in next depending on your personal lifestyle. Bentonville being the mountain biking capital of the world, there is world-class single-track mountain biking trails, Kohler Mountain Bike Preserve, Slaughter Pen, Hand-Cut Hollow, all within a couple minutes ride of downtown. Whereas Rogers, on the other hand, does have some mountain biking trails. It does have the rail yard, Lake Atalanta, and Northwest Arkansas's largest lake named Beaver Lake, where you have a plethora.
Oh, yes. You have a plethora
of opportunity out there in regards to paddleboarding, e-foiling, camping, fishing, hiking. Rogers has Hobbs State Park as well as an extensive cave system that you can tour. Speaking of caves, over in Gravette, they have the old Spanish treasure caves in Gravette, but a little bit spread out when it comes to a more outdoor lifestyle and entertainment. Again, the services being limited in Gravette and Pea Ridge, nowhere near as much outdoor lifestyle. In regards to outdoor lifestyle in Siloam Springs, there is a mountain biking trails over there by the lake, as well as one of Siloam Springs' coolest features is the Siloam Springs Kayak Park that you see behind me. There are Class 1 and Class 2 rapids, a swimming area, picnic area for families to enjoy, located right here on the Illinois River just south of Siloam Springs. Now on to economy and job access. Bentonville is going to be the driving town that has the strongest economy with Walmart's ecosystem here, vendor offices, and multiple different startups. Down in Rogers, Rogers sees a big J.B. Hunt influence, although J.B. Hunt is located in Lowell. Rogers has some spillover of some of the Walmart vendors who have offices in there, especially around the Pinnacle Hills area. Bella Vista, Centerton, Pea Ridge, as well as Gravette tend to be a bit more of bedroom communities. Not a whole lot of job access in those specific towns. Siloam Springs, you have Dayspring Cards out there, with Siloam Springs being a little bit more separated than Bentonville, Rogers, Bella Vista, Centerton, Pea Ridge, and Gravette. Out there in Siloam Springs, it's less reliant on the Walmart culture. Of course, we also need to mention in this section that down in Springdale is Tyson Food. Both of those Fortune 500 companies draw so many people to work in Northwest Arkansas, in Benton County, whereas Siloam Springs, again, is a bit farther west. Of course, each town has its own charm, its own little kitschy cool shops or unique features about them. So as you can tell by where we have gone thus far in the video, it really depends on your lifestyle, which city you want to end up in. And before we wrap up with maybe which city is best for you, please also understand, my friend, from tip to tail, from Bella Vista all the way down to Lowell, on the highway really isn't that far. Now, if you're driving from Siloam Springs and going all the way northeast of Pea Ridge, it might take you 45 minutes. But with traffic, that might take you an hour to 15 to an hour and a half. But I don't really see too many of my clients going from Siloam Springs to Pea Ridge. Most everybody is kind of on the fringes, and then they come into town, into Bentonville, into Rogers for entertainment, for food, for shopping. And of course, it's your own individual lifestyle. Maybe you like the downtown lifestyle, but you don't want to live in it. You want to be close to it, but not live in it. So that said, let's go ahead and break it down. Starting off with Bentonville. Bentonville might be for those who are looking for corporate relocation, entrepreneurs, or those that are wanting to be close to downtown and maybe more of a luxury type buyer, not to say that you couldn't find cheaper housing in Bentonville, my friend, all the way out past the airport, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, $300,000. You can find it. But this isn't a market analysis video talking about what you can find. On to Rogers, you might be looking for more of a balanced lifestyle. Maybe a commuter that is looking to commute into Bentonville to work for Walmart, Sam's Club, or perhaps a vendor. If you're looking for that slower lifestyle, but you want a bunch of activities around you with a different topography feel, Bella Vista might be your choice. Centerton might be for those who have maybe a little bit less budget than in Bentonville, but want to be in Bentonville schools. Stronger construction focus. Pea Ridge, you want that small town feel. You want to be able to take part in the mule jump that happens there every year. If you're looking for a little bit more land, you might look over in Gravette. And we didn't even mention Decatur or Gentry, but more of that rural lifestyle can be found over in Gravette. And in regards to Siloam Springs might be for you if you're looking for more of that independent lifestyle as well as a little bit slower pace of life that you might find here in Bentonville and Rogers. My friend, it's always a pleasure to put this information together for you, and now you know a little bit more about what life is like in and around Bentonville. Thanks for watching.